I don't like liver, but this recipe is delicious. Cut some liver into strips just like this, and I'm going to add the liver into a bowl. I'm going to add in 150 mils of milk, and we're going to give this a good stir. I'm just using my hands, and we're going to set this aside. In another bowl, we're going to make a delicious sauce. So to start, I'm going to add in some garlic powder, some paprika, black pepper, oregano. This is 3 cloves of garlic that I've chopped, and 2 tablespoons of vinegar. We're also going to add in 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and mix these ingredients well. And now our meat is ready. We're going to remove the milk from the meat. I'm just going to pour it over a strainer. Now, the purpose of the milk is to make our meat nice and soft. Now I'm going to take our meat and add it right into the sauce we made. And we're going to mix this all together. I'm going to add in some salt and stir again. Looking good. With some hot oil in a pan, we're going to add our liver meat and fry it well. This is what we want our meat to look like. Now we're going to add in some veggies. I'm going to start with 1 chopped onion, half of a sliced green bell pepper, half of a sliced yellow bell pepper, and half of a sliced red bell pepper. Let's add in half a glass of water and 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And we're going to give everything a good stir. We want to make sure all these ingredients are well mixed. I promise the taste of this recipe is going to surprise you. Now I'm going to cover this and we're going to let it cook for 10 minutes. All right, it has been 10 minutes and our meat is ready. It is super tender and tasty. This flavor is absolutely divine. All right, let's turn off the heat. And I'm going to sprinkle some parsley on top. Now, I am telling you, if you don't like liver, this recipe is for you. It smells delicious. Our recipe is ready. Shall we give it a try? This looks so delicious. Enjoy.
Okay, cooks, add condensed milk to your boiling water. Now, I added 200 milliliters of water and 395 grams of condensed milk. Then stir until everything is mixed with the water, and after mixing well, bring the milk to a boil and turn off the heat. Now add the mixture to a bowl. Now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of oil, add 1 egg, and just stir everything really well so as not to cook, especially the egg. And next we will add 1 pinch of salt and add 1 cup of flour. Now stir again until everything is well homogeneous. And now with the help of a ladle, separate a small amount of liquid and pour that liquid into the pan. Now I only used 1 ladleful because I want the batter a little bit thinner, but you can add more if you want it thicker. So just let it fry and make sure to watch it so that it doesn't burn. Next, you'll turn the pancake with the help of a plate and turn on the heat to low and just let it bake on the other side. Now place the pancake on a plate to facilitate. And you'll repeat the process with all of your dough. Now, because I'm making a very thin batter, this recipe is ready very fast. You've never seen such an easy pancake recipe. And just finish with all the batter that you have prepared. Now add melted chocolate in the microwave. I melted my chocolate with heavy cream. And with the help of a spoon, spread the chocolate well. It is very tasty. You can add more or less if you prefer. Now finish with powdered milk for just a little more creamy flavor. And what a delicious recipe. It is an easy and a super tasty candy. So just roll out the dough carefully and serve on a plate, and bon appetit. For this simple recipe, we're just going to pour the meat over the potatoes and prepare a delicious dinner. So we're going to start by frying 3 large potatoes that are cut into slices. Now always remember to fry over medium heat and make sure that oil is hot. So you're just going to carefully arrange the potatoes and fry. Now, once the potatoes have reached a nice golden color, we're going to season them. So add 1 tablespoon of salt, a little black pepper, 1 spoonful of paprika, and then just stir really well until the potatoes are seasoned with that paprika. Now we're just going to turn off the heat and add the potatoes to a larger bowl. You can see how colorful and seasoned it looks. I love these potatoes so much. This is a great recipe. So just set those aside. Now next we're going to add 700 grams of meat to a pan that is already filled with a little oil or butter, and just saute that meat over a nice medium heat. My family, every single one of them, also loves the taste of this recipe. So as you can see, the meat will fry pretty quickly. So at this point, we're going to add 2 cloves of garlic, add 1 chopped onion, and then just saute in the spices really well with the meat. Now when finished, we're going to season. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of salt, a little paprika, half of a chopped green bell pepper, then half red bell pepper chopped, and saute all of this really well with your meat. I love the vegetal flavor that is in this recipe, and the meat is so good. Now we're going to add 300 grams of sauce and just mix really well until that is seasoned. Then we're going to turn off the heat and finish. So we're just going to add the meat on top of our potatoes. I'm getting so hungry. I mean, look at how delicious it looks. And I'm telling you, it smells divine. So we're just going to finish with a little bit of grated mozzarella cheese. Just makes that meat even tastier and nice and rich. I mean, truly, the cheese just makes this recipe so, so good. Now we're going to bake in the oven at 320 degrees for 20 minutes. Crisp up that cheese, and wow, our meat is ready. Should we go ahead and give it a taste? I mean, wow, how delicious. I love the taste of this recipe so much. Enjoy.
Add flour to some boiling hot water. We're going to start with 2 cups of flour and 600 mils of water. We're also going to need 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of oil. Stir and mix this dough well. Now we're going to cook this over a low heat until that dough is cooked. The consistency of the dough is thicker, but it's still very homogeneous. Stir well until that's nice and cooked. And this is the ideal point of our dough. Turn off the heat and pour that dough on a work surface here. And we're just going to leave that to cool. I'm now going to add some olive oil. And let's knead this for a few minutes until it's nice and smooth. And this is the ideal point of our dough. It is smooth and it is super soft. I'm now going to separate small pieces of dough just like this. And we're just going to roll them into small balls. Repeat the process with all of them. Now it's time to prepare our filling. We're going to start with 150 grams of grated mozzarella cheese, 1 chopped onion, some parsley, and half a teaspoon of paprika. Let's give this a good mix. And we're going to finish the recipe by rolling out those dough balls a little bit, just using our hands. Nice and easy. Once that's rolled out, we're going to add 1 spoonful of that filling we just made right in the middle. Super easy, super delicious. We're going to close that dough just like this, and you can just do it with your fingers, super easy. Now, with a small glass bowl, we're going to just press down and make a cut in the dough just like this.
Oh.
This just makes it nice and even and super pretty. It's in the shape of a pastry now. Now, we're going to finish by frying this dough in some hot oil. When it's nice and golden brown, just gently turn them over so we can fry the other side. Just like this. And our recipe is ready. Look how delicious these look. Serve them on a plate and just remove any excess oil like this. Easy and super delicious. Your family is just gonna love the taste of this recipe. Shall we give it a try? It's just so crunchy and crispy and really yummy. Look how yummy these look. I hope you enjoy. This dessert is made with just 2 ingredients. When I make it at home, it's ready in just a few minutes. So to start this recipe, I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar to a pan, and we're going to be making a caramel. So using a spatula here, I'm just going to stir our sugar around, and it's going to start to melt and become very smooth. We're going to stir until the sugar is well melted and our caramel is going to start to form. So stir well so we can melt these little pieces of sugar here just like this. It's a process, it's boring, but it's necessary. So my sugar is completely melted here, and now I'm going to be adding in half a cup of water just like this. Be careful not to burn yourself. So you're going to keep stirring. You can't stop stirring because if you stop, the caramel will burn. All right, so our caramel is ready. It looks like this. Our sugar has melted completely and it's bubbling up nicely. Now we're going to turn our pan off, and I'm going to pour this caramel into a baking pan just like this, being very gentle. Now we don't want it to cool, so we have to work quickly. Now using my mold, I'm just gonna move it around to try and get some of the caramel up on the edges just like this, and be careful not to burn yourself here. You can also use a spatula just like this to help you out, and we want to try and spread as much caramel around our mold as possible. All right, moving on to the next step, I've got an egg here, and using a spoon, I'm going to very carefully remove the yolk from the whites, and I'm going to place it into another bowl. And I'm going to transfer the egg white into a larger bowl, just like this. And you want to be careful when you're removing the yolk from the white to not break the yolk. So you're going to repeat this process with all of your eggs here. So I've got all of my whites in a bowl. And now that I've got them added, I'm going to start whisking until the egg whites become stiff. I'll show you what it looks like in just a moment. All right, so this is what we want our egg whites to look like. This is the point we've reached. And now I'm going to be adding in 3/4 of a cup of sugar and just adding it little by little. And I'm going to beat it again. All right, looking just like this. And this is the consistency we're going after. So I'm going to keep adding in my sugar. Right, my sugar is starting to get nice and incorporated. And now I'm going to be adding in a little bit of vanilla essence, and I'm going to beat it again with my mixer. All right, now that everything is mixed and beaten very well, I'm going to add these egg whites into our mold that we put our caramel in. So just using a spoon, I'm going to carefully place it in little by little. This is starting to look so good, just like this. You can use a spatula to help, just like I'm using here. And we're going to use our spatula and we're going to spread our egg whites around just like this. And once our egg whites are spread around, I'm going to take this into a baking pan and I'm going to fill the baking pan until it reaches about halfway up the baking mold with water. So it's going to look something like this. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it in the oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. And this is the result. Let's cut a piece to see what the texture looks like. Look how beautiful this turned out. When I make chicken like this, everyone always asks me for the recipe because it is that good. So I'm going to start by cracking 3 eggs into a bowl. We're also going to need 1 tablespoon of salt. Let's also season with half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to add some parsley and spring onions in there. 2 grated garlic cloves. And some grated Parmesan cheese. Stir everything together and mix nice and gently. You can see how easy this is, and this is going to taste perfect. This seasoning is great and it will make our meat so tasty. This is easy, quick, and really delicious. All right, we're going to set that aside while we prepare our meat. So I've got 1 large chicken breast. I'm just going to gently slice it in half like this. And then I'm going to make more cuts on the inside, just like this. Now the tip here is that we don't want our chicken to shrink too much when it's frying. So that's why we're going to fillet it like this. I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap. And we're going to gently beat the chicken breast like this using a kitchen mallet. And this is going to make our chicken nice and tender. The flavor of this chicken is perfect. All right, our chicken is almost ready. First, we're going to place that chicken in a little dish filled with flour. Turn it over so we've got flour coated on both sides of that chicken breast. And now we're going to add that chicken to our delicious seasoning mix that we prepared earlier. Mix it well. And then remove that chicken and just place it on a plate. Now we're going to go prep our pan here. I've got a pan with some oil. I'm also going to add some butter in there. And once the butter melts, we're going to add our chicken. Now, in case you didn't understand why we put butter and oil, it's just to add some more flavor in there. There's a lot of good flavor in butter. We're going to fry it until it's golden brown, and then we're going to turn it over. After it's golden, you can see we're just going to carefully turn it over using some tongs. And now we're just going to wait for it to cook on the other side. All right, our chicken is ready. Just take it out nice and carefully and put it on a plate. Now, this type of chicken is perfect with rice and beans. This would even be delicious with pasta. When you cut into it, you'll see how juicy, tender, and seasoned this chicken is. Cut it up and call your family to enjoy this with you. I know that they are going to love it too. I cannot wait to dig in. Enjoy.
So I learned this recipe from a restaurant chef, and I'm telling you, you have to make it. It's so good. So start by separating 12 sausages, and you want to just open carefully like this. Now, don't cut the sausage in half. And finish the process with all of your sausages. This process needs to be done with all of them, and when you've finished, you just want to add the pieces of sausage to a mold. And just place them next to each other to make the recipe a little bit easier. So this recipe, it's super easy and will come together very quickly, as you will see. Next, we're just going to set aside and prepare our sauce. So for the sauce, we're going to start by adding 1 green bell pepper to a bowl. Now add 1 tomato, 1 chopped onion, and the juice of 1 lemon. And then you want to add some parsley for seasoning. The amount is optional. And then add olive oil to finish. You can also replace the olive oil with margarine or a different oil if you prefer. Now just mix everything really well with a spoon. The taste of this recipe when it's all done is so magnificent. So next, set the filling aside. We're going to add pieces of cheese inside the sausage. So you want to add the pieces of cheese just all over your sausages. As you can see, I prefer to use sliced cheese, but you can use whatever you prefer or whatever you have on hand. You can also substitute the type of cheese. It's really up to you. Now, after finishing, it is time for the filling. So, with a spoon, add the filling on top of the cheese. Just like that, and finish the process with all of the cheese. So this is easy and it's super quick. Just put this recipe together and the taste will surprise you. It tastes so delicious, like it's from a professional kitchen. We're just going to bake in the oven at 320 degrees for 40 minutes. And after those 40 minutes, our recipe is ready. And it looks so good. I think we should go ahead and try it. The cheese on this is so delicious how it gets baked. So you want to serve this on a plate and invite your whole family to try it. The flavor of this sausage, with the sauce too, it'll surprise you. The meat itself is super tender and the filling is just so special. So please enjoy.
The first time I made this recipe, everyone was so amazed because it only takes 4 ingredients. Let's start off by adding 4 eggs into a bowl. We're also going to need 3 tablespoons of butter. Go ahead and add everything in. Then we'll want to mix all these ingredients until they're thoroughly combined. Now, if you've never seen this recipe before, you've got to give it a try at home. It only takes a few ingredients and your whole family is just going to love it. Make this dessert and just be prepared to receive a ton of compliments. This dessert is super versatile and it can be served on hot days or cold days. It fits in any shape and everyone just loves it. Alright, after mixing, you'll see that you'll have some butter pieces, but they'll disappear once you bake it and your dessert's in the oven. Let's go ahead and add in 800 grams of condensed milk. Just add that in with the eggs and butter. I'm telling you, this dessert is so incredible. You are never going to be dessertless at home because you're going to want to make this all the time. Plus, it's quick, easy, and just so fun to put together. I love sweet recipes like this. You'll need about 2 hours to finish this dessert. But it is super easy. Alright, after dissolving the butter and the condensed milk, it's almost ready to go. This next step is super easy. I'm going to go ahead and take 300 grams of grated coconut and add it into the bowl. And let's go ahead and give that another mix together. Looking good. Grated coconut is our special ingredient in this recipe. This step needs to be done with the whisk and cannot be done with a mixer. Go ahead and remove the whisk, and we're going to add that cream to a buttered pan. Pour and spread it out well. I am already drooling. I can't wait to eat this. Now we're just going to go ahead and bake this in the oven for 35 minutes at 320 degrees. And voila, our dessert is ready. I guarantee you've never had such a delicious dessert. Now, if you prefer, you can serve this hot and have it with ice cream. That would be amazing. But I let it cool because I like to eat this cold. This dessert has a crispy crust, but it's super tasty and moist inside. Let's give it a try. If you like cold desserts, refrigerate this for a few hours and it's going to be great. Let's check to see how this looks. You can see how crispy it is on top, but so soft inside. When I made this recipe at home for the first time, everyone just fell in love with it. Serve it cold with juice or tea, and that would be so perfect, but it's time to eat. I hope you enjoy this perfect dessert.
All right, we're going to start by adding 6 beaten eggs to our boiling water. And we're just going to season the eggs with some salt. Now you just want to wait 2 minutes for these eggs to harden a little bit. And after those 2 minutes, we're just going to stir to mix the eggs. And then we just want to leave to cook for 10 minutes. Now, after those 10 minutes are up, we're just going to turn off our heat and go ahead and remove the eggs from the pan. You also want to remove the excess water as well. And now we're just going to place the eggs on a large plate. And I'm telling you, you have never seen an omelet recipe quite like this. This recipe is so, so good. I love this omelet recipe. This is a perfect, simple, delicious recipe. Now, next we are going to cut our omelets into pieces. And then in a pan with olive oil, we're just going to add the onion. And you're just adding 1 onion. That will be perfect. Then we're going to add 3 chopped garlic cloves. And you just want to saute these ingredients really, really well. As you're doing this, you will notice that your house will also start to smell delicious. Just an added perk. Now we're going to add 1 chopped green bell pepper, 1 chopped red bell pepper, 1 tomato, and you just want to saute all of these ingredients really, really well. And once sauteed, we're going to go ahead and start seasoning. So first add some salt, then a little cumin, thyme, and black pepper. Now these ingredients are optional, but I do highly recommend these seasonings. Now we just want to stir and mix the ingredients really well with these spices. Now, after about 5 minutes, I would say, your recipe will be ready. So this is the correct texture of the vegetables. This is exactly what we're looking for. The tomato sauce is so, so perfect. Smells so good, and it's beautiful, colorful, flavorful. Such a great recipe. So go ahead and turn off the heat and just add the contents to your eggs. And you just want to add the whole mixture right on top of your chopped eggs. Yum. I love this recipe so much. It's also really healthy too. And the taste with all of those seasonings in there, it's just so perfect. I highly recommend trying this recipe at home. It is a great, easy thing to make for breakfast. You will not regret it. So go ahead and add and spread well. And just like that, our recipe is ready. Okay, add vinegar over 3 liters of milk. Now my milk is already boiling right now, and this is 12 tablespoons of vinegar I'm adding. And just stir everything very well until the milk curdles completely. Now, after it has curdled very well, you're going to want to go ahead and turn off the heat. Now, put the milk over a bowl with a sieve and just pour the mixture very, very carefully because it is super hot. Now, this is a very great recipe that yields a lot, which we love. After you make this recipe, you're never going to want to buy cream cheese again. It's quick and it's a very economical recipe. You're going to want to make this at home. Now go ahead and just give it a really nice squeeze to remove any excess liquid from your milk. And just squeeze it really good to drain all of that liquid. This is also a very quick recipe, which is great. Now take all of this to a blender and just add it little by little so it doesn't all fall out. I'm telling you, this is such an amazing recipe. You are just going to be amazed by how it turns out. Now go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of margarine. And next you're just going to add just a small amount of salt. And go ahead and beat everything really, really well. Keep it going in there, but if you do notice that it's having a hard time getting it all blended in the blender, just add a small amount of milk until everything in the blender is super consistent. And at this point, you'll want to use a spoon to help you whisk and just spread those ingredients really, really well to make sure everything is able to become incorporated and get very well blended. And beat everything again in that blender. The goal is that it should become super creamy until it has the consistency of cream cheese. You want it very, very creamy. Now, after whipping it all, let's see how smooth it is. And look at that, it's a smooth, very firm mixture. Now add this amount of cream cheese in a bowl and see how beautiful and creamy it is. Arrange it well in your bowl and just refrigerate it until it's firm. And now our cream cheese is ready. This is a very quick recipe. Make it at home and save some time. Check it out. It is wonderful.
Prepare this quick and easy dinner. We're going to start this recipe by grating half a head of cabbage. And you're going to want to grate this cabbage into nice thin strips. Once our cabbage is all cut up, we're going to go ahead and season it. Let's add it right into a bowl. We're now going to add in some grated potatoes. This is 2 potatoes. I've already removed the excess liquid from those potatoes. We're also going to need 2 chopped red onions, add in some cheese, some parsley, and give all of these ingredients a good mix. See how easy it is? After mixing this, we're going to set this aside. In another bowl, add 4 eggs, 100 ml of milk, and mix the egg and milk together. After that's all mixed up, we're going to add in some black pepper, just 1 spoonful, some salt, and add in 6 tablespoons of flour, and mix everything together again. Looking good. We're going to need 1 spoonful of baking powder and another mix. Then we're going to pour this mixture on top of our cabbage and potatoes. Once that's added, we're going to give this another good mix. Let's season with some oregano. This ingredient is optional. And another mix. Add all of these contents right into a pan. Using a spoon, we're going to form some small cabbage dumplings. and just gently place them on the oil. Now you can fry in oil or olive oil over medium heat. The taste is so amazing. I absolutely love this recipe. You have to give this one a try at home. We're going to fry these for a few minutes. And once you can see that they're cooked on one side, gently turn them over and we're going to fry the other side. Now it's important to remember to always fry at medium temperature. And our dumplings are almost ready. All right, let's go ahead and remove these from the pan, and it's time to serve. Look how golden brown these are. Now you can serve these with ketchup or any other sauce of your choice. I like to serve these while they're still piping hot and take advantage of that melted cheese. Bon appetit. Okay, so here I've got 7 eggs. I've already beaten these eggs and I'm going to be adding them to some very hot oil, just like this. I'm using a spoon with some holes in it to help me. Be very careful. The oil is hot, so just be cautious with this part. Once our eggs start to fry, we're gonna let it go, but I'm gonna add on some seasonings, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper to give it some flavor. Pepper is great with eggs. I always add pepper to my eggs. Okay, so when your eggs are starting to cook, we're gonna be very careful to turn this over using 2 spoons, just like this. And now that our eggs are starting to fry up really nicely, we're going to take a spoon and we're going to shake off as much excess oil as we can. And we're going to add this to a bowl just like this. Okay, so here I've got a cup of breadcrumbs. I'm going to be adding our breadcrumbs on top. I've got half of an onion that's been chopped. You can add as much onion as you like. And here I've got some melted butter. And I've got some scallions here. You can add herbs, whatever you'd like to add some flavor. And then using a spoon, I'm just gonna kind of like chop up our egg that we cooked earlier just to try and like incorporate all of our ingredients nice and easily. So this process takes a little bit of time, so just be patient with it. We wanna make our egg pieces not too big. And if you want to cut your egg outside of the bowl, you can do that. Just cut it on a cutting board and add it in after, but I'm just doing everything in one bowl. It's easier, less dishes. And I love this recipe because my grandmother taught it to me. Everybody loves it. It's pretty easy to make and it's really, really good. It's called a farofa and it's quite simple to make at home. All right, so I'm going to be adding in some more breadcrumbs here. And I'm going to let this mix up nicely. Okay, got this all stirred up. And again, just be patient with this. You want everything to be nice and incorporated. So this takes a little bit of time. All right, now that this is getting nice and mixed up, okay, using a spoon, I'm going to add this to a plate here to get it nice and beautiful for our presentation, and our recipe is ready. And now you're ready to eat it. So enjoy, make it at home, give it a try. I didn't know it was this easy to make a delicious dessert in under 2 minutes, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So let's start by putting some sugar in a cup like this. Now we're going to need about 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. This is a simple and super tasty recipe. Let's add 3 tablespoons of water as well. And give that a good mix until the sugar dissolves into that water. I guarantee you are going to love the taste of this dessert. It is so good. All right, after everything is nice and dissolved, let's add this to the microwave for 1.5 minutes. Now we want to be careful not to burn it. That's super important. All right, after melting the sugar, let's spread it around. You want to try and like push it up on the sides like this. Try and spread it around the entire cup. The tip here is to spread it while it's still nice and hot, or else it'll get too hard. Once it's finished, let's just set this aside for a moment, and we're going to continue with our recipe. In a large bowl, add in 1 egg. We're also going to need 6 tablespoons of milk. And that's 6 in total. We're now going to need 8 tablespoons of condensed milk. And I'm just using the same spoon to measure. All right, now that our condensed milk is added, it is time to stir. We want to mix this well until everything is nice and consistent. And it really is just as simple as that. See how the liquid mixture is nice and creamy? That's how easy it is. This recipe is so perfect for people who just want to make one serving of a dessert. If you don't have a big family and you just want something for yourself, this is the perfect recipe to try. I guarantee the taste will surprise you. It's so delicious and so easy. And if you live alone, this recipe really is perfect. All right, now that this is all mixed up, we're going to take our mixture and we're going to pour it into our cup that we've already lined with our delicious caramel. Just gently pour it in. And this amount really is perfect for one person. I hope you make this and let us know what you think. All right, let's add this into the microwave for 1.5 minutes. All right, it's time to remove the dessert from our cup. I'm just putting it onto a plate like this. And look at that, our pudding is ready. It looks so good. Let's give it a taste. What a treat, a super easy and quick sweet recipe. I hope you give it a try. Enjoy. If you have corn and milk at home, you've got to try this recipe. We're going to start by adding 2 tablespoons of oil into a pot. Add in 1 cup of popcorn and some salt. Using a spatula, stir all these ingredients well. Now I haven't turned the heat on in my pan yet. It's really important that you mix everything together first. After mixing everything together well, let's turn the heat on to medium. This recipe is delicious. Once the popcorn has started to pop, you're going to want to put a cover on. Our popcorn's almost ready. Let's go ahead and set this aside for now. In a saucepan, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of sugar. Melt this well and be careful not to burn yourself because it gets really hot. And melt this down until a caramel forms. It's always important to cook caramel on a nice low heat. After the sugar has dissolved, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And very carefully give this a stir. And you can just see how cool this looks. The texture has already changed. We're now going to add 1/2 cup of milk. But when you're adding the milk, you just want to add it little by little and stir constantly. Don't stop stirring. Turn the heat back on and stir constantly. Finish with the rest of that milk. And you can just see how absolutely beautiful the caramel looks. This is the ideal point for the caramel. Go ahead and turn off the heat, and we're going to transfer the caramel with our popcorn. The taste of this popcorn will surprise you. Mix the popcorn with the caramel just like this. And this recipe is so popular with kids. Your children will just love this one. Perfect for watching a movie or a TV show. And just like that, our recipe is ready. Transfer this to a serving bowl and call your family to enjoy this with you. But be very careful because it is still piping hot. Now I like to finish by adding some powdered milk on top. Delicious. Our recipe is ready. I hope you make this at home. Bon appetit.
Invite the family over because this recipe is perfect. So start this recipe by separating one loaf of bread. And then with a knife, you're just going to cut out all of the crumbs. This recipe also works if you want to use baguette as well. And then just squeeze until a large hole forms in the middle of the loaf. Now add the piece of bread that you've cut into a mold. In all, I cut 8 loaves total for my family. And then add 1 spoonful of cream cheese inside each loaf. This is easy, and the cream cheese is going to make our recipe so tasty. Now, after finishing, just set aside to continue the recipe. We're going to separate 200 grams of ham and 200 grams of mozzarella cheese. Now it's time to cut the ham and cheese into small cubes. So this process is very quick and very simple. There's really no secret, just easy cuts. And add all of the pieces to a larger bowl. And you're going to love the taste of this recipe. It is so, so good. My family loves this recipe. They are always asking me to make it. Now we're going to add 2 chopped tomatoes after adding the ham and cheese. Then 200 grams of cream cheese. I love the taste of this filling too. My family and friends, they're always asking me for the recipe, so here it is. And now all you have to do is mix it into a super creamy filling. So I add super creamy ricotta cheese and just mix patiently, and it's going to turn into a lovely creamy filling. Now this is the texture that we are looking for. You can add some onion and parsley if you prefer, and it's going to be so super tasty. Now just fill each bun with this creamy filling. You can see how pretty it looks. It looks so good. And this recipe is so easy that when everyone's asking you to make it, you'll want to cook it every day. So then finish with some mozzarella cheese on top to make the recipe even tastier. I love the taste of this bread so much. You can also substitute the flavor of the bread if you prefer. And just add as much cheese as you like. And then finish with some oregano. Look at that. This is easy and quick and perfect. So now we're just going to bake until the cheese is nice and melted. And once it is, our recipe is ready. See how tasty that looks? Wow. This is a perfect recipe, and it's super crispy. And that filling is just creamy and perfect. So this is stuffed bread, the perfect family recipe. The taste of this ham and cheese filling, it is surreal and delicious. Okay guys, add 6 egg yolks and cover with a bowl. Now place the egg yolks in the center of the pan with the heat on low. While heating, butter the side of the pan. Spread a lot of butter until melted. Now add the whites of the 6 eggs. Put around. Now with a small fouet, beat the eggs white. Whip until nice and white. This is what it should look like, whipping over low heat. And just continue whisking and mixing. Okay, now add the spices. Parsley. Add black pepper. And spread well. Don't put too much. Add salt. Add cheese. You can use whatever cheese you prefer. I'm using mozzarella cheese. And I'm adding this more yellow cheese just to make the recipe a little prettier. Now add a few drops of ketchup and add some space between them. Now stir in the egg whites well. And you'll see while the yolks cook, the egg whites fry really well. And even if it is soft, just keep stirring. And add more butter. Swirl around the sides of the pan. And the margarine should drain. I'm cooking on low heat. Now let's remove the bowl because the yolks have already cooked. Make sure to use a cloth so you don't burn yourself. Now look at the yolks. Turn off the heat and release the yolks. Separate the yolks and mix with the egg whites. It's a different omelet. This is how it should look. Shall we try it? Wow, the yolks stay whole. It's very good. And some great different flavors.